Western civilization finally succeeds in 1917 in liberating Jerusalem. And then in 1948 in creating a state of Israel. 2,000 years have passed. This could not have happened by accident. The Quran is explaining. This is the Gog and Magog world order which has done it. It is the Gog and Magog world order which liberated Jerusalem. It is the Gog and Magog world order which brought the Jews back to Jerusalem to reclaim it as their own. It is the Gog and Magog world order which restored a state of Israel in the Holy Land. Using this verse of the Quran. And now finally, well, why? Why is Gog and Magog doing this? What is their agenda? But you know the answer already. That Gog and Magog are working together with Dajjal, the false Messiah, the Antichrist. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised the Israelite people that He would send to them, not to the United States, a prophet who would be their own and who would be known as Al-Masih, the Messiah. And the Messiah would rule the world from the throne of David, Dawood alayhi salam, and therefore the state of Israel, Jerusalem. And his rule would be eternal. And the Israelite people understood that to mean that they are going to rule the world one more time, as they ruled the world in the time of Solomon alayhi salam and David alayhi salam. And so the golden age is going to come back one more time. And we're going to rule the world. We'll establish our political rule over the world. We'll establish our economic rule over the world, and hence the slave woman. The slave woman. We're going to establish our total, complete dictatorship over the world. And when we do that, history will repeat itself. That's the way they understood it. And so the Messiah is going to come. And when he comes, he's going to rule the world from Jerusalem with a rule which will be eternal. The Quran came down to say that Jesus, the son of Mary, alayhi salam, he is the Messiah. But they rejected him. And my book, which is over there, The Religion of Abraham and the State of Israel, a view from the Quran, has conducted the analysis to explain why they rejected him. Had he been a Jew, he would have been accepted. But he was an Arab, and an Arab cannot be a prophet. If Muhammad, Allah's blessings be upon him, if we accept him to be a prophet, then the Bible is filled with lies. And we cannot accept that our Bible, our Torah, has been changed. So we reject him. He cannot be a prophet. But Allah's messenger said that when they boasted of how they killed him, crucified him, that they did not succeed in killing him, they did not succeed in crucifying him. That's the Quran. But Allah raised him. And the most important event which remains to occur in history is when the Son of Mary returns. He was taken up into the samawat. Samawat is plural of sama. Don't say he was taken into heaven. Huh? Don't use that language. Heaven is Jannah. He was taken into the samawat. Samawat is plural of sama. Between this material universe and the command center from which Allah controls the entire creation, the Arsh, there are 7 worlds of space and time. 7. And tonight in the masjid, in Surah Al-Kahf, we'll be introduced to the subject of the samawat. So he was taken into the samawat, the same samawat into which Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was taken on that miraculous nocturnal journey. And from the samawat he will return one day to rule the world from Jerusalem. That's the end of history. That's where we are heading. However, amongst the 10 signs there was Dajjal. And Dajjal is someone created by Allah. He's not a human being. Because all human beings will stand for judgment before Allah on Judgment Day. And human beings will either go to heaven or to hell. But Dajjal is not going to be judged by Allah. Wake up! Dajjal is not going to heaven or to hell. Wake up! No. Dajjal is a special being created by Allah who will appear in the form of a human being. Can angels appear as human beings? Yes, Gabriel alayhi salam. Can jinn appear as human beings? They got a lot of them in Washington. And so Dajjal will appear as a human being. And his function is to seek to impersonate the true Messiah, to pretend to be the true Messiah. And in order for him to impersonate the true Messiah, he'll have to rule the world. That's where we're heading. He will have to rule the world from Jerusalem. By my calculation, he's now so close that children now at school should live to see Dajjal ruling the world from Jerusalem. But we will expand on this subject in this retreat. What we have done so far is to introduce you to the reality of the world today as identified from that event in which the angel came as a human being and asked the 5 questions. And then we look at the evidence that was provided. The big tall buildings that you can't miss unless you're blind. And then the more difficult one, the slave woman giving birth to a mistress, which we have not as yet attempted to explain. And then we said, if this is the last age, and they're moving in that direction, you know, women who are dressed and yet naked, and women dressed like men, and men dressed like women, if they're moving in that direction, if that is mainstream, we're going in the opposite direction. Opposite direction. And then we ask, if this is the last age, then where is the world heading for? What is the end of history?